welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be talking to Greg Esposito, the PHNX head of content, about what it's like to be the fan of an Ishbia-owned team. Next on the CHGO White Sox Podcast. Welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast, coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. On today's episode, we'll be talking more about the possible looming next owners of the Chicago White Sox. Justin Ishbia will be welcoming in Greg Esposito of PHNX to talk about his son's team being owned by Matt Ishbia and what it's like to be owned by an Ishbia brother. We have Joey Christopoulos producing us today, and then after Greg talks with us for about 15 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about some mailbag questions, along with updating you on more spring training news for the Chicago White Sox. Let's have Greg Esposito join the show now on the Hooters Hot Wings hotline. We're very excited to talk to Espo. How did you get the X handle of Espo? Did you get it on Blue Sky? Is this something that's like very important to the Espo brand?
So I worked for the Suns, and early in the Twitter days, I pulled some strings and wound up getting it. So not a fun story. I didn't buy it from somebody or win it in some high stakes poker game. I just simply knew the right person.
Lucky you. I'm jealous of you because, man, I've been trying for Sean Anderson. I mean, every combination, I have to put 2 underscores in there. So feel very, very blessed, Espo. And maybe that site in general will just turn around for us. But let's get into what's important and why we're having you on. Justin Ishbia is reportedly on Friday going to be increasing his stake as a minority owner in the Chicago White Sox, seemingly abandoning his attempt to own the Minnesota Twins, and will put him in place at some point to take over for Jerry Reinsdorf, likely when Jerry Reinsdorf dies. Espo, let's go to the beginning before Matt or Justin Ishbia were a part of the Suns or Mercury ownership group. Who were the owners of the Suns, and what was it like? Did you have an 89-year-old, owner that everyone was just kind of hoping would be leaving town at any second? What was pre-Ishbia ownership like?
No, it wasn't quite as nice as that. The disgraced former owner, Robert Sarver, was allegedly a borderline racist, sexist, big problem for the organization, and I worked there for 5 years under his leadership or lack thereof, and it was a problematic organization. So, it wasn't just that the owner was cheap, it was multiple things that caused problems there. He obviously was forced out by the NBA and decided to sell the team after a year-long suspension from the NBA, and that's how we wound up with Matt Ishbia as the lead owner and his brother Justin as a minority owner. They own the 2 largest stakes in the team here.
Yeah, this is what I get for not doing my research. I was like, Espo will tell me what happened, and of course it's a dark cloud over Phoenix. But what was it like then with that bidding process? Were the Ishbias a clear front runner from the start? Was that the people that the fans wanted to take over, or did they kind of slowly grow on Phoenix Suns fans' radar?
Well, I mean, to be frank, Suns fans were willing to take anybody that was willing to come in. But there were like rumors about Jeff Bezos, and at one point, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. There were all these really recognizable names that everybody knew. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was Matt and Justin Ishbia are going to likely be the ones to win the bidding for this team. So we got to know each of them. Obviously, Matt he made his fortune in the mortgage business that he in part inherited from his dad and then grew. And then Justin, obviously, working in the investment, venture capital space. So anytime you can get two billionaires for the price of one, we take it. So everybody seemed fairly happy with it at the initial sale.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this, and this is kind of my favorite fun fact. Justin is currently building a $77 million lakefront property in Winnetka, Illinois, just north of Chicago, and that's more than the White Sox have ever spent on a singular player. So very excited for the deep, deep pockets of the Ishbias to be gracing Chicago. Feel free.
So he's your neighbor, is what you're saying? No, you don't live in the same neighborhood? No?
No. I live in Chicago. He lives in a rich suburb. The one thing, too, is at the end of the day, it's a billionaire. And it's very weird to see Justin and his wife, very upset about trying to give their child a normal suburban life. And it's like, well, you have a $77 million home. Let's slow down here. We all don't look out onto the lake. But anyways, what was, obviously with the black cloud over Sarver, fans were willing to take anything. It seems like the Ishbias were embraced fairly quickly. But why am I hearing about this narrative that Matt Ishbia has now ruined the Suns? Is it just because Kevin Durant looks distraught on the court, or is it because Matt Ishbia has poorly run this team?
No, it's because there were such high expectations. The day after Matt Ishbia officially took over the team, they traded for Kevin Durant. And then they doubled down in the next offseason and they traded for Bradley Beal. And they now have the most expensive team in NBA history, a payroll of over $400 million. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked, right? It has not led to results. And Suns fans, I'll say it, we're spoiled. We're not spoiled, but we're basically at a point where, much like Cubs fans were for years, sorry to mention the other group,
it's all good.
But we're kind of lovable losers in the fact that it's been 57 seasons without a title. That's all anybody wants. We thought we were going to get it with this, with this, what everybody dubbed a super team, a big three, and now they're sub 500. So people are angry, people are upset, people are frustrated, and the easy finger to point is at Matt Ishbia, because there's a contingent of fans that want to say that he's just become the guy making all the decisions. I don't 100% believe in it. I think he had an influence on getting Kevin Durant and some of the moves, but I also don't begrudge a guy that just spent $4 billion on a team wanting to make some splashy moves to try to actually put his stamp on a franchise to start. I think his heart was in the right place. The execution of it, maybe not.
The one thing, too, that I've heard from Justin, he's really talked up the idea of baseball being a team sport. And I know the NBA, you know the NBA, you've been covering it for your whole life. It's a star-driven sport. So the fact that he went out and got Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and kept Devin Booker, it seems like champagne problems. No offense. Does it feel like there are still hopes? It doesn't feel like once KD leaves and Beal leaves that Ishbia wouldn't be able to still fund the team, right? It still feels like this is going to be an effort that he puts behind his full, pocket. It may just look differently as, this team has to change getting rid of Durant and Beal.
He's made it very clear that winning is his number one and only priority. He always talks about wanting to make a championship organization on the court and off the court. And everything I've seen, he's committed to it. I mean, he's spending $400 million on this. It's not as if he's not committed to it. It hasn't worked, but I think he's going to continue to be committed to that winning thing. This isn't a new owner coming in trying to show off and make everybody feel all right. This is a guy that actually wants to win. And in my conversations with Justin, I believe he's of the same mindset. Now, maybe the approach won't be exactly the same because, as you mentioned, baseball is different. And Justin obviously isn't his brother in terms of that. But I think the heart being in the right place, wanting to turn the White Sox into a model organization in the MLB is going to be one of the main tenets that he'd have once he became a majority owner.
Yeah, and it seems like the way that he's going to work his way into being the majority owner of the White Sox is them putting up capital for the next stadium. And that seems like a pitch at least Jerry Reinsdorf has been able to sell to Justin Ishbia, that they could do this and then, possibly make money off of the surrounding neighborhood that they're likely going to build in this new neighborhood. Espo, I know you're an expert, but commenters are the expert as well. And not only have they found Sasquatch, but he's a libertarian now. And he says, as a Suns fan, this is total cap. The Ishbias suck. I heard $400 million being spent on the team. I heard the name Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. Pretty sure you guys went to a finals as well. Like, what is the disdain? It feels like maybe he stepped over the basketball minds in a way, and that's where that disdain's coming from.
Okay, Libertarian Sasquatch is a commenter from my world, so crashing the party here. But I understand that people want to act as if it's cap, but the truth is, yeah, they made the finals before Ishbia was here, and then they had a very good season where they set the franchise record for wins, but then got demolished by the Dallas Mavericks in a Game 7. The team felt like it had run its course, and then when Matt Ishbia came in, he obviously made the splashy move for Kevin Durant. Some of this is fans are hurt because they thought that team was the pinnacle and they blew it up to go after stars rather than building with young guys. And I understand and I respect that, but the truth is, I would take an owner that goes all in and makes the effort and maybe screws up from time to time than where they were with the previous ownership, and a guy that's willing to admit mistakes and try to fix it. That's where we're heading in this offseason for the Suns, is seeing if Matt Ishbia and their front office will correct the mistakes and try to go a different path. And that'll go a long way to understanding what's really going on in that front office. But look, I'm not going to hold it against a guy for going all in and missing on it, right? I'd much rather be there than not doing that. And I'm a believer that the team that people feel they blew up wasn't heading anywhere anyways. I think that they had gotten very lucky on a run and didn't wind up there. So I don't think this is some massive problem with the Ishbias. I think the Ishbias are guys that will learn as they go along in ownership, and maybe heart's in the right place. Maybe they make some mistakes early on, but I think they're going to continue to try to win at all costs.
I feel for Suns fans because I'm a big TJ Warren fan, and maybe it's just because his career fell off so quickly. Maybe it's that. Maybe there's just sour feelings around the end of TJ Warren. I mean, look at what DeAndre Ayton's doing in Portland. I don't think you guys miss him.
No, but some people do. Look, a lot of revisionist history. I think you know about it. When you have rough years, fan bases get angry. Fan bases get upset. They look to put their anger at anybody that they can blame for it. And right now, Suns fans have decided that falls at the feet of Matt Ishbia. And that's part of ownership, right? You got to accept that sometimes you're going to be portrayed as the villain by some people, whether you're doing the right thing or not. And I think that's where we are in Phoenix. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think you guys, if Justin Ishbia or when Justin Ishbia becomes a majority owner, you are in very good hands that will invest in the team, in the infrastructure, in the business side of it. Everything that they can do, they will do to try to make it a winning and proud organization.
Thrilled to hear it because, man, we've stunk recently. And I think the biggest thing is just the 40-year age gap between Jerry Reinsdorf and Justin Ishbia and even his brother, Matt, who will likely be a part of the ownership group once, everything settles here with Justin taking ownership. But, yeah, no, I'm very excited for the Ishbias. I understand that there's some concern around, the way that the Suns have, fallen apart. But hopefully, things turn around for you guys and then the Ishbias can have success in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you rather have an owner that spends and maybe you fall short of expectations than your current situation? That's the way I look at it, because the Suns for a decade were dark days. I mean, very much like where the White Sox are under their previous owner, and it was a breath of fresh air that they got an owner that was willing to spend. There was somebody, while they were trying to get money from the city to renovate their arena, an old lady came up to the podium during city meetings and they said the disgraced former owner squeaked when he walks because he was so cheap, and that was the world we lived in. So I think you guys will be happy. So.
Yeah, similar thing. A guy got real famous for a radio rant, about 9 minutes. His name's Berto. Yeah, there was a whole thing just because he made a comment similar to that. But appreciate you, Espo. He's the PHNX head of content, and we appreciate him bringing his expertise here on the Ishbias and Sons. Thanks, Espo.
Yep, no problem.
No problem. We're very excited by Espo joining us. Very excited, too, about the Ishbias taking over. I mean, hey, people wanted him to sell the team. People wanted a new owner. Here you go. We got to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast and let you know about our friends over at Ray CDJR during the President's Day sales event at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fox Lake. Shop federally approved savings on brand new vehicles. Head to Ray CDJR and on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, take 18% off MSRP with dealer discount on all new 2024 gas-powered Jeep Wrangler models, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Race CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicles you need. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you will pay. It's that simple with our friends over at Ray CDJR. They've been serving the community since 1963. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. On select models, excluding the 392, tax, title, license, and doc fees extra, savings based on MSRP. MSRP may not reflect actual selling price, may not be combined with other offers. Combined Ray and Ray inventory. See dealers for details. Offer expires on 2/28/2025. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Waymo. If you're like Espo and you're in the PHNX area, check out our friends at Waymo. They're an autonomous ride-hailing service that operates in the Phoenix metro area. If you're down in the Phoenix area for Sox spring training, this is a great way to get around the metro area. I won't even say city because it's a whole entire area. These cars are entirely driven by themselves using cameras, LiDAR, and radar. And over the past few years, the service has grown to serve a majority of the Phoenix Valley and provides a safer, more eco-friendly ride-hailing service for everyday consumers. Again, if you are heading to Arizona for spring training, this is a more affordable way to get around the city than other ride-sharing services. It's just as safe as other ride-sharing services, and it's a fun little video. Ooh, look. Autonomous. I won't say the driverless word because it's not technically driverless. But they've taken over 150,000 trips per week across San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. And Waymo is the first company to serve a fully autonomous ride with no human behind the wheel in 2025. So if you're heading out to Arizona for spring training, download the Waymo One app and get ready to experience the future with our friends over at Waymo. We apologize if there was a little bit of an echo there. They took all the good equipment to Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. Makes sense, right? But we are doing our best here with a mic that for some reason won't mute at times. So woohoo! How you doing, Joey?
It really makes you think everything's your fault back here, but
yeah,
sometimes it's the equipment.
Oh, brother, if you want to go see everyone blame a producer for the audio not working, go check out today's Cubs show at 1:30. Trust me, we're trying to do our jobs. Joey actually just isn't scarfing down a double cheeseburger behind the wheel, or behind the wheel of the.
In my Waymo,
yeah,
just having
in
a
your
double
Waymo,
cheeseburger,
yeah, right,
just cruising.
Yeah, woof. But anyways, I appreciate Espo for joining us. I feel very, very excited about this Justin Ishbia news. I feel very excited about the fact that he's got a brother that has just the same amount of money as his brother, and they're going to be teaming up. They would be the second richest owners in Major League Baseball, just behind Steve Cohen, and they just gave out nearly a $1 billion contract. We'll see how excited they are to spend. I wouldn't say that they are looking to, maybe make that big of a splash right away. They might dip their waters in or dip their feet in the water a little bit before making a splash that big. But then again, very excited about the fact that they have a ton of money. And it seems, as Espo said, a $400 million payroll. If you want to know where the White Sox stand right now, they stand at $72.9 million. And I believe $8 million of that is buyout and dead money. So technically, they're paying less than $70 million for 26 players. Joey, it's 15 on an NBA roster? So about 9 less guys you're paying.
Well,
It's a $330 million difference.
I mean, isn't that the thing at the end of the day with this Ishbia news is that for just a second, just for a little bit, White Sox fans can start to dream again without that ceiling of like, well, they'll never spend X amount for this player or that player to supplement a young roster. You can at least start dreaming again that maybe the Ishbia family can come in and maybe start throwing that weight around the way they do with Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns.
Yes. And again, too, like, if you were a Bulls fan, would you not want Kevin Durant on the team? Would you not want Bradley Beal on the team? It didn't work out. Beal and Durant were a little bit too older than they could be to contribute to a championship team, but they still tried. And I'm way more excited than what for the Suns start of the season than what this is coming up to. There's a lot of prospects for the Chicago White Sox, but again, there's nothing that's really getting anyone excited. I feel like the Ishbias can get people excited, and I feel like they could bring a new breath of fresh air to this entire organization. I'm very excited for that. We do have some questions in the Die Hard. I will go to our guy Sam, who said, what would you do to celebrate if and when Justin Ishbia becomes the new de facto owner of the White Sox? I think that's happening on Friday. It seems very clear to me that when Scott Reifert is making a comment on a story like this, in a statement where it's saying, oh, well, Justin won't be the owner, but he will soon be the owner pretty much. He won't have a direct route to become the majority owner right now. But when they get the 78 project and this man is the majority funder of this project, you bet your bottom dollar he's going to own the Chicago White Sox. So right now, he's not the majority owner of the Chicago White Sox, and he won't be. And probably until after the season, unless Jerry Reinsdorf passes away. But assuming Jerry Reinsdorf keeps good health until the end of October 2025, we just have to wait until the 78 gets built. But what you're hearing from around Chicago sports media is if you're getting a higher investment of private equity money, it's a lot easier for the state of Illinois to make their decision. Oh, hey, we have to give state money to this. They have to give out some state money. There is state money allowed to give it to a stadium. So they have to make a decision on where the state money is going. And if they just have to give less money to a certain team, it seems like that's the project that's going to be built. Adam Hogue also said on Saturday that Jerry Reinsdorf has more connections in Springfield than Kevin Warren. I have a feeling, especially with Justin Ishbia attached, the 78's getting done. And if Jerry Reinsdorf's able to do that, props to him. That's a huge project that he's able to do. And you also get a new owner, which everyone would be thrilled about. So, woohoo. What would I do to celebrate? What would we do to celebrate, Joey? I can't drink, so it's not like I'm popping bottles. I will smoke however much they sell for. I will smoke 108 billion joints.
If it happened during the season, we take ourselves down there and we get ourselves a campfire milkshake and say goodbye to a past era because we're moving on into the future.
Yeah, I can't wait to post my campfire milkshake on my Instagram story. Ooh, look at all the filters.
I was gonna say, great filters, Sean.
Good looking. Yeah, filters. I don't know about that. I'll probably throw myself into the lake. How about that? I will celebrate by pulling. Who's that guy that jumps into the lake? Dan O'Connor.
Yeah, we'll put Thunder over it. AC/DC's Thunder over it.
I'll go join Dan O'Connor by jumping in the lake that day. Chandler in the Discord also said, just be grateful baseball is a sport you can get out of purgatory by simply spending as much as you want because the Ishbias effed up the Suns' future by immediately coming in and overstepping the current basketball people and going in all in and killing every future asset in the process. Oh, well. Again, it's not like they could trade away draft picks in baseball, so they're handicapped there. Like, it's truly a spending money game when it comes to baseball. And it seems like Chris Getz was able to get Jerry Reinsdorf to spend some money on the underbelly. So it seems like they might be, hopefully, able to put all the money towards player salary once they take over. I don't know what the actual number is going to sell at. I know they're selling shares at an evaluation of $1.8 billion. I don't know what the evaluation will be for Jerry's shares, because he says he owns more than 19%. I would assume it's near 30%. At this point, I think he's probably gained 11% of interest by what Michael's been able to pick off. So I don't know what that 30% or plus is going to be evaluated at, but it's going to be a very nice payday for the Reinsdorfs. And then Michael will be able to drive up 90 and 94 and be able to see the 78 when Jerry passes, and he'll be able to look and be like, man, that was the last thing my dad built. Like, I don't know. It seems like a really good time for Sox fans. I know it feels weird to say that with the team coming off 121 losses, but the prospects are there. I don't think Chris Getz is super stupid. I think the recent minor league signing was stupid, but for the most part, before that day, I've been singing his praises. So overall, I think this is a fairly exciting time to be a Chicago White Sox fan. Couple news and notes from spring training today. First of all, Roki Sasaki pitched in a live batting practice. And since the Dodgers and White Sox share a facility at Camelback Ranch, that live batting practice was against some White Sox. I think Tim Elko, according to Brooke Fletcher, took him deep. So shout out to Tim Elko, everyone's first and favorite future first baseman of the Chicago White Sox. His first at-bat was against Kyle Teel. And in his first pitch, Kyle Teel smacks that ball out of right center field. I mean, it was like Fred McGriff. It was like Babe Ruth against a 78-mile-per-hour fastball. Who else is a
Ken Griffey's dream?
Barry Bonds that one time against Eric Gagne, where Eric Gagne said, "I'll only throw all fastballs." It was glorious. And I haven't been super high on Kyle Teel. I have Edgar Caro ranked over him in my prospect rankings, but boy, if we want to overreact, Roki Sasaki was everyone's, off-season pickup move of the year. They didn't talk about Kyle Teel. Kyle Teel wasn't even the headliner. This is Braden Montgomery. He hasn't even played a game of baseball. Kyle Teel's out here in the bottom of the ninth inning in an 11-1 game, making sure that he advances past second base on an Oscar Colas fly. It gets down and past the center fielder, and there goes Kyle Teel, low flying, running in, beautiful base running, fast for a catcher. Beefloaf said his top end is Russell Martin, not Scream. I think we got Russell Martin on the team. I'm excited. And then, Edgar Caro's at Carlos Santana. And now we just need 24 other baseball players?
Give or take.
Okay. Tomorrow's going to be a big day for the Chicago White Sox. Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz will both be pitching in tomorrow's game. I believe it is a White Sox broadcasted game as well. So we're very excited to see those two pitch tomorrow. I'll make sure that is the case. I think they're at home tomorrow, but I don't know. That's my bad for not being more prepped. Wednesday, it's on CHSN against the Padres. So very big to go see that. It'll be on CHSN. You can watch it or find it on the internet somewhere. DM me if you need some help. But overall, excited to watch them two perform. Colson played today. They were going up against the Colorado Rockies at the Rockies' place. Colson struck out in his first two at-bats. First at-bat in general was 3 up and 3 down, 3 pitches, 3 strikes. So not too great to see from Colson. I think the second one wasn't too nice as well. But third at-bat comes up, 96 mile per hour fastball, low and middle, and he hits it 113 miles per hour. It was like an 11-degree launch angle, so it was like a very sharp line out to right field. But if he elevates that ball, that's a homer. So it's very excited to see that top-end exit velocity from Colson. It's why he's been a first-round pick. It's why he's been a top 20 prospect before, his ability to create high-level exit velocities. He was able to make a play that was all right at shortstop yesterday. It was ranging towards third base. It wasn't the cleanest pickup, but he was still able to get the guy out. So it hasn't been the crispest play from Colson Montgomery so far at spring training. That's why I don't think he'll be the starting shortstop for the Chicago White Sox. But again, I think he's improving. I think that he's doing his best. And I think that hopefully that would lead to a very motivated Colson Montgomery at AAA, and we'll see what he can do there because he was just so bad last year at AAA. Hopefully he has that determination to put himself over the edge. Let's look at the current projected roster from WA, and we'll get out of here. Corey Lee, I think, is going to be on the roster along with Matt Tice. Those are your two catchers. Andrew Vaughn will be at first base in your starting first base. I think he will be platooned by Joey Gallo on the bench with a left-handed bat. Josh Rojas will be your second baseman. I'm fairly confident in that. Miguel Vargas, per Will Venable, will be your third baseman at least to start the year. So I think you're going to have Rojas and Vargas at second and third base. Then in left field, Mike Tauchman and Austin Slater sharing time makes sense. Luis Robert Jr. in center field. Michael A. Taylor in right field. I think your designated hitter will be Andrew Benintendi. We don't need to see him play defense anymore. I think Will Venable said he'll be out there, but we'll see how true or how consistent that is. I think Benny will mostly be a designated hitter. And then along with, again, just to look at the bench, Tyson Slater, I mentioned them before, but again, they're going to be two of the names on the bench. I think he's gotten a lot of playing time. And I could be wrong. I think Brandon Jury's going to be one of those names, along with Joey Gallo. So I think it's going to be Tice, Slater, Gallo, and Jury as your bench. I don't know what Lenin Sosa is going to do. I think he needs to make an impact in spring training. We really haven't seen him make an impact just yet. He had 8 home runs in the Venezuelan League, but what is he doing against Major League pitching? I don't think Lenin Sosa is going to end up making his way onto the White Sox roster. And at the end of the day, I think they need somebody. Cut Drury. I'm sorry. So Tice, Slater, Gallo, and then we'll put Brooks Baldwin on the bench because he can play everywhere. I think that his growth is done. I don't think they want to put him back down in Charlotte because I don't think there's a position for him to play. Unless they want to have him play second base, that would be the only option. But let's put Baldwin on the bench. I do think Jacob Maya is going to be your starting opening day shortstop. It's not sexy. They DFA'd him early in the year, but it seems like they want to be competitive in the way that they're not losing every game by 10. And I know Amaya doesn't help them score runs, but he does play decent defense. And I don't know what guarantees you get from starting Colson Montgomery there every single day because I think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I think the same with Brooks Baldwin. I think Amaya, it's going to look ugly at the plate, but he can at least pick up the ball at shortstop. So I'll go with Amaya. What a way to end it. High point on Justin Ishbia, and then your opening day shortstop is Jake Amaya, ? Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We got a Blackhawks pre- and post game tonight, so if you're looking for Blackhawks coverage, if you're looking for any Chicago sports coverage, we have you covered here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. You can also listen to us in audio form where you find podcasts, and you can check out ALLCITY.com for any writings. Hit that thumbs up button. Thank Joey Christopoulos for producing the show, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.